For the past few years, I have dedicated myself to becoming a from-scratch cook. I grew up with a mom that was a from-scratch cook, and in my younger years, I also cooked from scratch, but things got off course along the way, and on my current journey, I found a system that works. I really struggled to be a from-scratch cook because it seemed like so much work every single day. But over the course of time, I've come to realize that having a set of core basics that you turn to again and again every single week can really help carry you through. And today I'm going to be sharing with you 4 staples that are core ingredients that I've been using for a while now in my from scratch cooking. And you really can make a multitude of meals from just these 4 basic things. And they're also extremely cost effective. So I'm starting out today right now with some yogurt. And this is something I make again and again on my channel. I do have a tutorial and I'll share it with you in the description below. But yogurt is something that can be used in so many ways, and it is so much cheaper to make it yourself. Essentially, you want to heat up the milk to 180 degrees and then let it cool off to finger warm, and then add your yogurt starter, which is basically just plain yogurt or yogurt from your last batch, just a couple tablespoons worth. And then you want to keep it consistently warm for several hours. I do this by using my dehydrator as a warming chamber. And then once I have my yogurt made, I like to turn it into Greek yogurt, and I do that by straining it. I basically use my salad spinner and I put a flour sack cloth over top instead of cheesecloth because I can keep washing this again and again. And then I strain it to the exact consistency I like, which usually takes several hours. And I also will add some whey back to my strained yogurt if I've overdone it. Now, another thing you can make with this is lebne, which is a basically Lebanese style cream cheese. And it tastes just like cream cheese. You can add herbs and garlic. It's so delicious. So once you learn how to make yogurt, you can either make, regular yogurt, Greek yogurt, or even cream cheese. It's so versatile. And then from there, you can make yogurt parfaits, which we do all the time, or you can turn it into a savory dip. You can make salad dressings and dips, and there are just so many things that you can make with this. You can also use the whey in your bread making, and it is just so economical at, I think it costs me about $6.75 for a jug of milk. This is in Canadian dollars. And I get so much yogurt out of that $6.75. It costs more than double to buy this much yogurt in a big tub. This yogurt tastes better than the yogurt in the store. It's not sour. It's actually so delicious. And we use it almost like ice cream. We make sundaes using bananas and chocolate syrup or, berries and maple syrup. It is so delicious. And I can't keep enough of this on hand. My family eats it quickly. I'm also sharing some summer moments with you in today's video, as it's almost felt apocalyptic around here with the amount of smoke from forest fires, and I miss these sunny summer days, so I'm sharing some footage with you. The next staple ingredient that I'm sharing with you is something that I made a lot in the past, and I'm going to be adding it back to my repertoire this fall, as it's also just as economical as making the yogurt, and you make it in a similar way. So I'm making basically ricotta cheese, but if you strain it further, you basically get a farmer's cheese that is similar to a feta or a goat's cheese, depending on how you do it. So I'm heating up my milk to 180 degrees again, which is just before the boiling point. And because my thermometer broke, but I've done this so many times, I basically just wait until I start to see bubbles form, and then I'm adding lemon juice. You want to add about 1/3 of a cup to 2/3 of a cup until you start to see the curds separate from the whey. And you'll notice that the whey has a yellow tinge to it, just like that. And then we're going to set this aside for 10 minutes and let it sort of settle. And then we're going to strain it off and separate the curds from the whey. Now, ricotta cheese is quite expensive to buy. For a tiny little container in our grocery store, it costs about, I want to say, $7 to $8. And I can get double, if not more than that, with 1 jug of milk. Cheese is a very expensive ingredient, and being able to make this easy cheese yourself gives you so much versatility in making recipes, from lasagna to stuffed shells to using it as a cheese in salads and quiches and all kinds of things. This is so cheap. So right here, as is, I'm adding some salt, and this right here would be a ricotta cheese. You can put it in a container just like this, but I happen to have some soft cheese molds, and I'm going to be putting this into a couple of these and letting it strain for several hours. And when it was done, it was basically the consistency of a feta. I'll share a link for these baskets down in the description box below. And another thing I want to mention is how high protein this is. The yogurt, as well as this soft cheese, has a lot of protein because not much protein comes out into the whey. And so you get a high protein cheese here for a very small price. You can crumble this into your eggs in the morning, you can put it in salads, and there are just so many options, and it's so easy to make yourself. So I highly recommend giving this one a try. If you've been on my channel a while, then you will know that I have been working on making sourdough bread, multiple loaves per week. And what I've been doing is making 6 loaves at a time and then putting them into my fridge and letting them long ferment and baking them off throughout the week. This technique has worked so well for me and allows me to always have bread on hand at a moment's notice, and it carries me throughout my entire week. And this might be one of the most important practices in my from scratch kitchen. This is what I'm learning about having a core set of basics in your repertoire as a from scratch cook. And they don't have to be the same basics as me. And my basics can change from time to time. I'm not always making ricotta cheese, for instance, but just having a core set of basics that you can make multiple meals out of is just such an important thing to realize and understand in your journey to becoming a from scratch cook. At least it has been for me, because I really struggled for a long time and I was constantly running to the store and, I didn't have ingredients for this. I didn't have ingredients for that. And for the longest time, I couldn't be consistent in my bread making. And now the solution to that is doing what I'm doing. Making enough dough for 6 loaves at a time allows me to make it through my entire week without having to run to the store. And because it's long fermenting, I'm always having really good quality sourdough that tastes excellent. I am someone that loves historical cookbooks and homemaking books, and something that I've learned through reading these cookbooks is that this is exactly how women of the past cooked. They made a lot of bread and they used it in a multitude of ways. They made their own breadcrumbs, they made their own croutons, they used it in desserts like bread pudding. They made stuffing in a lot of different ways, more than we do now. And they just found so many uses for leftover bread, including French toast. There are just so many ways that you can use bread in your everyday life. And so it's just such a versatile thing to have on hand. I've found that in our household, I can make so many meals out of this bread, and you've seen me do it. If you've been on my channel, I make a lot of sandwiches for our farm workers every single week, and I use it for things like garlic toast to go with soups and stews. And, there are a lot of ways that you can use this. And as a mom who doesn't always want to be cooking all the time, it's so useful to have, because my teenagers can just, cut themselves some slices and make some toast. And it's one of those things that's easy for other members of your family to figure something out with. They can make toast and peanut butter and just basic things. For a long time, I was just keeping my sourdough starter alive, and I wasn't really baking with it for the longest time. I even lost my starter and then had to get some back for my daughter, who is sharing the starter with me. And so I'm finally in a place where I am consistently making sourdough bread. And it's wonderful because of that long fermentation you can do in your fridge. A really well-known from scratch cook here on YouTube is Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone. And I just love watching her channel. She's a huge inspiration. And she is someone that definitely has her basics down. And you see it across her channel again and again. Things like sauerkraut. She makes a lot of milk kefir and yogurt and bone broth. And the other thing that she does is a ton of bread making. And she's really well known for sourdough. And right now she's been experimenting with whole grains. And I just love watching her journey. And I find it so satisfying and inspirational. I will keep these in my fridge anywhere from 4 to 5 days, but no longer than that. I've kept them for 6 and they didn't quite turn out. So I like to bake them off before the 4-day mark or on the 4th day typically, and they always turn out great. And in this shot here, I'm baking off 4 at a time because it's the 4th day. And so, I have to bake them off, and I can always freeze them if I can't use this much bread all at once. I'll use an entire loaf for making garlic bread, and I'll use 2 loaves at a time for a round of sandwiches for our farm crew. So I can go through a lot of bread at once in this household. Here are some croutons that I'm including into a salad. And there is just so many options for using up all of this bread. Having dried beans on hand at all times and then cooking them off for using throughout the week is something I've been doing for a very long time. I have a lot of dried beans. And here I have some white kidney beans. And what I've been doing recently to have them handy quickly is that I'll do a quick soak method, which is basically just boiling them for 10 minutes, then letting them plump up for an hour, and then rinsing them off, putting them in my slow cooker with some fresh water, and then cooking them all night. So I can get that prepared in the evening, let it cook all night, and then I've got beans to use the next day. What I like to do is put them in canning jars, put them into my fridge, and then I don't have to buy canned beans ever. I can just use these throughout my week in things like soups, and I can make dips. There are so many different recipes that use beans. Here are some chickpeas that I'm adding to a soup. I also made hummus with these. You can make burritos out of pinto beans or black beans. So many options, so much versatility, and so economical. And that is the big point here, is how economical all of these things are. They save you so much money, and yet they are so healthy for you. And they're just great options in any from scratch kitchen. I want to thank you for joining me in today's video. I hope it has inspired you in your own cooking journey. And leave me a comment, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you join in on my channel. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.